Okay, so I just watched this entire replay and did the entire thing, and then my hard drive filled up and the whole file is corrupted. So we're just going to kind of speed run this. So there's a lot of key points I'm going to pick out. It's a long game, so I'm going to fast forward through most of it. Your opening is very, very solid. I like the fact that you rallied the drone into the gas geyser to keep 16 on minerals. That's just pro gamer move right there. The timing of your third is fine. Like, everything looks good. Your initial creep spread's good. Your initial scouting was really good too, but your response was not. That's where you started to fall apart. So he's ready for this Overlord, but I really like how you come in with this one and then you come in with that one. Now, I'm going to pause it right here because if we put it on your vision, you have vision of double starport. Double starport can only be two things, especially with, well, sorry, I should say double starport with tech labs can only be two things. It's either the TY build where it's double Banshee, where you get cloak and speed at the same time, or it's double battle cruiser. And look, we got vision of the fusion core. So it's going to be double battle cruiser. You seem to take your time on getting the spire. Like, it's quite late, and then even when the spire's done, we don't really get the corruptor count we need, or any really, for quite a while. So the creep spread's good enough right now. Like, you know, a couple tumors get picked away, but you're pressuring away with your queens. It's good enough that all of our bases are connected and we have vision. The two threats that are going to come from this build when he pushes out with the battle cruisers are the battle cruisers themselves and the Hellions. And in all honesty, the Hellions are what's going to get more damage done 9 times out of 10. It's just kind of how it goes. The battle cruisers, they will get damage done if you let them, but they're pretty much there as a threat. They can tank so much damage, and then the Hellions are just going to come in when you're distracted, snipe a bunch of drones. So your movement's really good. Like, you're pressuring away the roaches. This is where it falls apart. This is where I found the first fatal flaw. So we have the spire on the way. It is late again. I did tell you that. Again, I'm fast forwarding it, so I can't exactly tell you how late, but I remember the first time it was quite late. Look at all the gas we're dumping into Ravagers. What are we getting the Ravagers for? Yeah, in a perfect world, we can buy all these down, but it's so unlikely. And because Ravagers are considered light units, they actually take more damage from Hellions. We just want the roaches. This is just a really inefficient move. I don't like this at all. We just need to take all of our queens, even our inject queens, and we'll just have to remake them. And we have to poke away these battle cruisers and just buy ourselves time till we get the corruptors out. Hellions come in. Now, he's not even looking at his Hellions. Like, he could have got so many drones, but he wasn't paying attention at all. I mean, it was sloppy. You definitely took some drone kills, but at the same time, you have so many drones. You actually oversaturate like crazy. Yeah, you're up to 92 drones on 4 bases. I mean, I love the fact that I love people making drones. That's a big issue. Most of the time, it's not making enough. You've made too many. You can play 92 drone style if you want. You can go up to 110 if you want, like Raynor, but if you're going to play that style, you need to be really aggressive because your army's so small, you need to be trading out constantly. Your army comp is just so middle of the road. You try and take every approach to mech without actually just committing to one. Like, you're going for this upgrade, like you're going for melee and ranged, and you know, you're rushing out Carapace here, which is fine, but like, we've got 11 corruptors on the way. That's all we really need, because we know it's double starport. We need a couple to push them back. 11 is a good solid number, but we don't need this. I mean, we'll get the melee later when we go into Broodlords, but realistically we need the range, because our comp right now is going to be Roach Corruptor. Roaches for the Hellions, Corruptors to push the BCs back. It's very unlikely that we're going to kill the BCs, but we just need to be able to push them back. Otherwise, we're just going to die by 1,000 cuts. These BCs are just going to come in and slowly pick off some queens, pick off some drones, teleport home, repair, rinse, repeat. Okay, so we have the Corruptor count. We push them back. But look at what we're producing. We haven't rescouted. If we look at your vision, we have rescouted. Okay, so I fast forward a bit. You took a little while to rescout, but now we know it's mech. We have the factories. We've got vision of 5 factories. Why are we making banelings? If you go back in time, yeah, you can find videos of like Nest blowing up mech armies with banelings, but it's like a BM move. It's like a manor mule for Zerg. You can absolutely, enough banelings will kill anything on the ground. But even though we have the, I know you will go up to the bank and you have the economy and the drones and everything, it's just not worth it. These are not the units we need. We need Roach Corruptor. We need to go into our hive quickly, and we need to get Greater Spire, and we can just play Roach, Broodlord, Viper. So I'm going to fast forward a bunch of this. We have way too many Corruptors, and there's no battle cruisers left. Now, in the first one, unfortunately, like I said, I got corrupted. You took forever. I think I was at 17 or 18 minutes, and we still had no Greater Spire. We're taking really bad trades, but trades nonetheless. We're getting some value. If we look at our army supply, we're still up, but unfortunately that's so inflated with the Corruptors that really are doing absolutely nothing. If we look at the losses, I mean, the Terran's still ahead, which is a Zerg dream, but it doesn't stay that way for long. I admire the fact that you're going in with the caustic spray attempts to at least try and get some value, but what we need to do is we have too many Corruptors, and there's no air units. We need to get this Greater Spire. And we just don't seem to do that. So we're going into swarm hosts here. It's not yet, I guess. This is just, I get it, you're maxed. We need to trade out. I'd like to see these Ravagers get traded out. Too many turrets, back it up, yeah. We're still making banelings. Like, we're throwing away our gas bank. Our mineral bank is whatever. You can make some lings, you can make some run by. We have a shit ton of minerals. But our gas bank is going to be incredibly valuable because, again, we're going to need a lot of Vipers. We're going to need a lot of spellcasters versus mech. And they're all very gas heavy. And these banelings, they might find some value. Like, you get a good hit here, awesome. But Hellbats are cheap. Hellbats are the Zerglings of mech. It's just a filler unit. They're there to take damage, and we're not trading effectively. Okay, so the creep spread's really good right now. Like, we have a lot of map vision. And here's what I don't understand. After we get these, you know, we go in and harass with Corruptors, we come in with the Ravagers, everything's looking okay. We're getting what we can done with our shitty army comp. Here's what I don't understand, though. In a minute here, we're going to see him move out. Yeah, we have the creep spread. So we can see where his army's at. Understanding how mech works is important to how to beat mech. It's a slow, brutal army comp, but a keyword being slow. They need to siege up. They need to get that position on you. You see where they're moving out. If you let them get that siege, yeah, you're going to die. So as soon as they get that siege, we need to abandon that position. So we can't let them get it. We can see the army moving up, but we just don't seem to do anything about it. And I can't really blame you because we don't have the army comp for it. We still don't have the Greater Spire in production. We're getting +3 Carapace for some reason. We're getting Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts are okay. But, I mean, he's making a lot of Hellbats, and that's kind of the natural unit to deal with mass Swarm Hosts. It's good against pure tank and Thor, but he's going to get more Hellbats the second he sees those, and we're already kind of lackluster on supply. We don't have a lot of room left, and Swarm Hosts are a lot of supply. Okay. So we still have 0 spellcasters. Don't really need infestors yet at this point. They're always helpful. Like Fungal's always good, Knurl's good, but we're not at that point. What we really need is Vipers. We need to start yoinking some of these Thors in, some of these tanks in, and whittling away this army. If we can't, we're never going to win a fight, especially with this army comp we're going for, in a head-on engagement. We just won't. So that's why we need the Vipers. Blinding Cloud is also insane. Like, we can negate the tanks. As well as with Vipers, we can not only yoink, but we can Blinding Cloud the Thors for a Greater Spire and Broodlords if we had anything like that on the way. So let's look at the losses. Yeah, we're quickly taking the lead there. And while we still have the drones, like we still have the bank, everything's fine in that sense. We're just gonna we're bleeding out here. We have no response. We have a bank. We've got a really shitty army. We're still throwing away our gas on banelings, but we're never gonna deal with this problem. We're gonna chip away and we're gonna kill a few units, but it's pretty much costing us triple to kill a couple units than what it's costing him. This is so inefficient, and the key to playing versus mech is efficiency. It's the key to beating anything, but with bio, in a sense, you can be a lot more reckless. But mech it's a turtle. Like, they're gonna slow play, and you had such an advantage to the fact, for whatever fucking reason, this Terran player, I have no idea what MMR this is, by the way, he stayed on 1 armory the entire game. Like, he has +1 armor. And that would be a blessing if we weren't just starting our Carapace now, which is really, really important. Okay, so Stormhost gets some damage done, but nothing crazy. Banelings coming in. Banelings versus Thors. Again, it works, but we're just so inefficient here. Like, look at the losses now. Like, that was 4K lost right there. So, take a breath. Take a breather. We still have vision here at least, so we know he hasn't expanded here. He's expanding here, that's to be given. That's expected. But think about it. He's on 1 base, 2 base, 3 base, 4, 5. And of those 5 bases, this one's dried up, this one's dried up, this one's getting dried up, and this one's dried up. So how many fresh mining bases does he have? 1 on the way, and this one's about half. So we are in a good spot. I know it's scary because we're dealing with all this mech army, but look at his income. He's got a shit ton of gas, but his mineral count is nothing. So it's going to take... Obviously, he's going to get back up there with mules and everything. Don't get me wrong. But at the time being, we are so far ahead. The only shitty thing is we're maxed, and we keep maxing on these shitty units. Like, we still have 12 corruptors that are doing absolutely nothing. So that's 24 supply. And we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They say never do math on stream, and that's why. 39 supply in swarm hosts. Like, so much of our supply is useless. And the rest of it's in Ravagers and Banelings. And again, Ravagers are... They're not armored, so they don't take bonus damage from tanks or Thors, but they might as well be, because they're so fragile, it doesn't matter. It's not like a Ravager is going to survive much longer than a Roach would against a tank shot. We need Vipers, we need Spellcasters, we need Broodlords. Like, this is a very Protoss-esque comp. I mean, or I guess you could technically do it against Bio minus a Swarm Host, but like Ravager Ling Bane. But Ravager Ling Bane, when we have +3 melee, +3 melee, we don't need the Lings and Banes. It's a blessing and a disguise that we have the +3 melee because Broodlords work off melee. So all we need to do is get the Greater Spire. I mean, again, we traded out. We killed a couple things, but look at the losses. That was another 4K lost, and he's just going to remake it. I mean, his production's... He's got 7 factories. He's good. Okay, we're picking off some bases. This is a good trade. This is good. Okay, we're picking off a couple bases. The only thing that sucks is we're picking off a base that's pretty much mined out. So he doesn't really care. We're kind of just not doing anything. We're pressuring, but we're pressuring the wrong spots. We're not accomplishing anything. Like, if we look at that, that was another 3K we just threw away. to, you know, we lifted a base that was almost mined out, and we killed a couple SCVs. But at this stage in the game, the Terran doesn't really want, like, he's on a good SCV count. All you really need to be doing is having a couple on minerals, but mostly all your SCVs are just mining gas, and then you're just dropping mules. Oh god, my mic was muted. Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat myself because my mic was muted. We needed Vipers and we needed Broodlords, and we needed them 10 minutes ago. If you're not, is just super committed to not going Broodlords, which is dumb, we need to let these die. There's no air units. Try and get some value, get some caustic spray, but commit and let them die. It's just let them die. We're taking such bad trades. We've got almost no map presence. We can walk around, we've got creep, but as soon as he shows his army, we have to back the fuck up. We're still making lings. Like, look at the losses. Broodlords, Vipers, and Roaches are what you needed here. And this game is too far gone. While we have the bank, awesome, every one of our bases is getting picked away. We're focusing so hard on this one base that we can see, we have the vision that it's pretty much dried up anyway. The Terran player doesn't give a fuck about this base. This one's the fresh one. We know this. We need to be focusing our attention on the fresh bases. What are we doing? Okay, so we're fighting in a choke. This is... Well, we have the upper hand in the choke because we've got more. It's concave versus convex. We're fighting against Thor Siege Tank. We just don't want to take this fight. We throw out the Swarm Hosts. Awesome. Locusts get some damage. Nothing incredible. More losses. So we've got the Terran player supply blocked. Like, we definitely got some value. Like, these Swarm Hosts have gotten quite a bit of value out of them, but it's not enough. We're not going to kill his army with these Swarm Hosts. What do we have in production? 2 hatcheries. Still no Greater Spire, no Vipers, no Spellcasters. That's all we need is Spellcasters. The only way to play against mech without using spellcasters, if you're adamant against it, is to go for a bust timing. And by bust, I don't mean Ling Bane. I mean pretty much just like an 8-minute roach max out, getting like 1-1, like 66 to 70 drones, pure roaches, 1-1, and just go all in off of like 4 hatcheries. Like, that's the way to beat mech without spellcasters. But we're like 15 minutes past the point where we could do that. And I mean, the story of the losses is the point. Now, the Terran player took a lot of losses, and again, he's still on 1 fucking armory, so he's bad. He's bad too. But we're making Lings and Banes. It hasn't worked for 25 minutes. What makes you think it's gonna work now? It's just, oh, we have so much gas. We could make so many Vipers. Yeah, look, like, he's got 6 siege tanks in your face. Those Banelings don't have a hope in hell of connecting with anything. So you killed 3 tanks. Not enough. Okay, so takeaways for this game. Spellcasters. Spellcasters! It's what we need. And don't play Lingbane versus Mech. It's just not what we're going to do. It's just, yeah, I mean, yes, it's possible. Anything's possible. But it's just not supply efficient. And playing against Mech is a war of attrition. It's a turtle build. They're going to slow play it and just try and bleed you out. This is how they accomplish that. You kind of helped him. You're kind of playing double agent. You're trying to win. You're playing the game, but it's like you're playing on his team by doing this. So honestly, your macro was pretty solid. You made a lot of drones, but your shuffling didn't really work out too well. You made a lot of drones, to be honest. We have to move them around. Your injects were okay. Your creep spread was solid. Upgrades were very fucking wonky. And it just, middle of the path decision. Like, why, at 25 minutes, why do we still have Ravagers? Why are we still making Banelings? We're just kind of all over the place. Again, I have no idea what MMR this is. This could be Silver. This could be, unfortunately, in NA, this could be Masters. I have no idea. But, yeah. Overall, lots of room for improvement, but still a solid foundation. It's just working on army compositions. Hope this helped.